Today is a vulnerable video. I am talking about 7 ways that I was wrong about money. We are putting it all out on the table of ways that I don't think that I was correct about money and how my view of money has changed over the years. And this is going to be personal, and I'm going to kind of give an explanation of why. Now, if you don't agree with some of these, that is totally okay. It is your view on money, and that's what makes personal finance personal. So, if you don't agree, that is totally okay. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. So comment down below. I would love to read them, interact with each other in the comments, and I will also have some resources for you on the things I talk about in this video in the description for you as well. So definitely check out the description box. First one is cash is king. I was taught that cash is king, that you should be using cash envelopes and cash and debit cards and stay far, far away from credit cards. And for years, I didn't have credit cards and I wasn't building up a credit score. And then when I went to buy a house, my credit score was a lot lower than it could have been, especially after I paid off my debt. After I paid off my debt, my score went down, 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 down. So credit cards are a great tool, and if you use them properly, they can really help you. They can help you get amazing vacations and points and cash back and different things like that, as well as building your credit. But you have to know how to use them responsibly. If you are unable to use them responsibly and you use them and building up a credit limit and you are just building up that credit card debt, then maybe cash is better for you. But if you learn how to use them responsibly, then they're a great tool. We honestly never use our debit cards anymore or cash anymore. Everything is put on our credit cards and we just pay them off in full every single month and reap the rewards. But like I said, we've been able to use that we've been able to do that responsibly and learn over time. I do have a video down below that is called Why I No Longer Use Debit Cards, and that really goes into all the details of it. So definitely check that out down below in the description. Number 2 is investing is scary. I used to be so scared of investing and really thought that investing was for the big people on Wall Street and the big people with the numbers and yelling at those screens and just NASDAQ and crazy and all this stuff in New York. And that's what I thought investing was. I didn't think that investing was something that I was able to do, that I was able to learn. And it's so cool and so crazy that my coworkers and my friends are calling me for investing help and saying, hey, what do I put into my 401k? What do I put into my IRA? What stocks? What do I do? What are index funds? And I'm able to explain that, which is like crazy of how far I've come just in the past couple of years of learning about investing. And I'm still learning. I'll always be learning, which is so cool. And there's so many apps and programs out there now that really help you and are able to make investing simple. You can get started with investing with apps like Robinhood and M1 Finance with just as little as $10, which is amazing. And they have fractional shares now. So you don't have to put thousands of dollars into Tesla to buy into Tesla. No, you can put $10, $2, $3, $30, $100, whatever you want into those stocks or ETFs, which is amazing. So if you want to get started with M1 Finance, Robinhood, Coinbase, any of those, I will have them all down below in the description box. They are affiliate links, so I do get a little bit of a commission, but you also get free stocks with them. So it's a win-win for both of us, and it's a way that you are able to help support the channel for putting out these free videos. So it's a win-win for everyone. Number 3, investing versus paying off debt. And this was a big one for me, and I thought that you couldn't start investing until you pay off your debt. No, that is simply not true. And it is amazing of how much faster your net worth grows. I always thought that every extra penny that you had, especially on your debt journey payoff, when you're paying off your debt, of putting every extra penny towards your debt. That's not always the case. I personally believe that it's important to be investing while you're paying off debt. Even if it's $10 a week or even if it's $100 and you're putting $400 towards your debt and $100 towards your investments, I think that's great because the way that the market works and the compound interest that you're able to build over time is amazing, and get those dividends and get the growth from the market, because historically the market's going to go up and up and up. So therefore you're able to reap those gains, especially if you start early. And it's amazing of how much more you're able to get out of your investments versus paying off debt. Especially with those low interest debts like a mortgage, you're able to get a lot more traction and gain from the market. If you're putting your money into index funds, which has a much higher return than your mortgage interest rate, honestly, I'd rather put it into the market. That's what we're doing. We're putting more money into the market than we are into paying off our mortgage early because we're getting so much better return by our investments. Going along with that is investing versus saving. And honestly, I used to want to have this huge emergency fund and have all these sinking funds and always be saving for everything. And then a friend of mine talked about how he only keeps $10,000 in cash as an emergency fund, and then any extra money that they have after that, they put into their investments. And I was like, that's crazy. No, you have to save cash for this. You have to do this and this and this and this, and always be saving and always be putting more and more money into savings. And now I have the reverse mindset, and I agree with him of figure out what number you feel comfortable with. Whatever it may be, depending on your risk, depending on your mortgage, or if you have rental properties, whatever it is, figure out that number of how much you need, or if you're saving for something specific, that total number. Then anything on top of that, I personally believe, put it in investments, put it into index funds. That way you're able to see that growth and your money is doing more for you. Yes, high interest savings accounts are awesome. High interest checking accounts are awesome, but you're making a lot more on your money in your investments than you are in your bank, especially with inflation. Whoo, with inflation, you're not making too much in those accounts. Yeah, you're making some. They're great. I'd rather you have your money in a bank like CIT Bank and you're making some interest on it than like Bank of America. But if you can have it into some ETFs, some index funds, it's going to be making so much more money for you, and your money's going to be working for you a lot more. Next is student loan consolidation and student loan refinancing. I used to be so against student loan consolidation. I thought it was taking the easy way out, and you need to pay off your loans and what you paid for and all this stuff, and you're still doing that. You're just consolidating, putting them into one payment or refinancing, getting a lower interest rate. So really understanding the terminology is so different than what I used to believe, because honestly, I wasn't educated. I just thought it was no, we don't want to do that. And that's what's so important about education. That's what's so important about watching these types of videos, so that you learn what these terms mean. If you want more information on student loan consolidation or refinancing, I'll have them linked down below. Some resources, some stuff that I have that I vetted for you guys, I'll have it linked for you. But honestly, that may be the best option for you, and you can lower your interest rate. You can have one lump payment versus all these little loans, and it can make life a lot easier and a lot more manageable for you as well. Number 6 is credit scores do matter. I used to think that you wanted a credit score of 0 or a credit score of 300, showing that you have no credit available to you at all and no outstanding loans or anything like that. Now, after buying a house, I realized it actually hurt me, because after I paid off my debt, I had no interest of building credit. I had no interest of getting credit cards for a couple of years. And then when I went to buy a house 3-4 years later, my credit score was still really low. And now it's gone up a lot now that I have a couple of credit cards and we pay them off monthly. But having a credit score is important. It saves you on a lot of things. A lot of companies look at your credit score. Some companies even look at your credit score for a job to see if you're eligible to work there as an employee. A lot of utility companies look at credit scores, and sometimes you have to pay additional fees or a deposit because of your credit score. Obviously, getting an apartment, they look at your credit score. And then getting loans, if you're getting a car, if you're getting a house, all of those things look at credit scores. I have a few videos down below in the description box on credit scores and how you can increase your credit score without debt. And I personally believe that having a credit card, if you're paying it off every single month, is not debt. If you're holding a balance on your credit card and you're paying interest, that is debt. But in my opinion, if you're paying your credit card off every single month, then I don't believe it's debt. Personally, that's my own personal opinion. Y'all may disagree, but that is what I believe. We don't swipe our credit card if we don't have that money to pay it off immediately. We have excess in our savings account or checking account to pay it off, so we don't use anything on our credit card that we can't pay off immediately. Absolutely, that is a non-negotiable for us and our family. Next is the more money that you have, the faster you can build wealth. And I always thought that only wealthy people could build wealth. And that's true to some extent. I have realized that it's amazing how more money you have, the faster you can build wealth. For instance, if you're putting in $100,000 into the stock market, into investments, then you're able to grow your wealth a lot faster than if you were to put in $25K. But it is crazy to me of how much faster our net worth has grown now that we're debt free. When you're paying off debt, your net worth is only going up as much as you're paying off, right? So if you have $25,000 worth of debt, you don't have any investments or anything like that, and your net worth is negative 25K. If you pay off 5K, then your net worth is now negative 20K. Now, if you have a net worth of $20,000, then you put in $5,000 into your investments, into your index funds. It's crazy how much more your net worth can grow because of the way that the market works, because of how the growth is of those investments. You can get 7% returns, 10% returns, 12% returns, depending on what you're investing in. And it's crazy how fast your net worth has grown. And there's been months where I've done our net worth update, and I'll do our update. I'll put in all of our numbers. I have a spreadsheet. If you want a net worth calculator, I'll have it linked down below, this exact one that we use. And there's times where our net worth has grown more than what we made that month in income, minus our mortgage, minus our bills, all that stuff. Say we made 10K that month in income and our net worth grew like 15K, 12K. It's crazy. I'm like, no, these numbers aren't right. But they are because of our investments and the returns that we're getting on our investments. It's crazy of how the market grows. And yes, you have those dips, you have those times. There was some times in 2020 where our net worth dropped to 12K, I remember, in 1 month. And I was like, holy cow, whew, we had just lost $12,000. I even did an Instagram post about it. And everyone was like, Kelly, you didn't lose $12,000. You only lose if you sell. And I was like, you're right. Didn't lose it. It just dipped a little bit, but now it's recovered so much more. So it's so cool how your net worth grows with the market. So that is something that's really changed for us. So again, I have all these resources down below in the description box. If you want to know the tea on why I stopped following Dave Ramsey, you may have noticed a trend of some of these were Dave Ramsey themes, like Cash is King, different things like that. I used to be diehard Dave Ramsey purist. Now kind of deviated a little bit. So if you want to know all the tea, everything, check out this video here. And if you want to know a dividend investing guide for beginners, super basic, super beginner basic dividend investing guide, check out this video here.